what the hell do we do all day? Well, I tell you what, I've known my mum and dad for 25 years and they still don't know what I do. So I'm hoping that this video will be nice and informative and give you an insight into what we do behind those doors and now behind all the PPE. Unfortunately, this day in the life was actually filmed over 2 days, a week apart, but my days are pretty much the same every day. So most of the content and the structure of what I'm going to talk about is all based around the same day. You're like, God, woman, how do you not understand what a day in the life is? And I'm like, well, yeah, I do, but I just ain't got time for that, you know? So I hope it gives you some kind of insight into what my life is actually like. I'm not really sure what people think doctors do. Be interesting to hear some of your assumptions. In all honesty, it's not all seeing patients, and you'll realise that we do a lot of other stuff too. I'm currently working in a GP practice, so I'm not in the hospital, so my day varies a little bit, so compared to the average junior doctor. Now, what I haven't talked about is my other daily bits that I do. So I didn't show you my morning routine or whatever, and I didn't show you what I did in the evening, but this is just about what I do at work, behind the scenes, I suppose. Today's Friday, so it's a little bit different day for me. Usually my days are 9 till 5 or 6 of all day clinical, but today, just to catch up, I've got a scheduled half a day in the afternoon for admin. So I've just finished my morning surgery. It's 1:30, but I had quite a lot of patients to see, so called quite a few. I had one about just some blood test results, one about some acne, a lady who I brought in for downstairs problems, so that one took up quite a bit of time. I've had a few calls about switching patients from warfarin to something called a DOAC, which is just an anticoagulant, so it thins the blood, but it stops them from having to come in for blood tests. So that's a project I'm working on at the moment with those. And I've had one skin lesion, one follow-up patient for some sore bottom, and one with migraines, and we talked a little bit about mental health as well. So next on the agenda is I've got to go to somebody's house. We usually do those over lunchtime. However, I've managed to not get myself some lunch, so I'm going to do that on the way and probably just eat it in the car. I have to take these new visit packs with me. This is all new for coronavirus, which is really interesting to put it all on in the street because people look at you and wonder what the hell you're doing. It's a little bit embarrassing, but sometimes, because I'm in quite a rural place, often there's not a lot of people around unless I'm in the centre of the town. So I'm gonna get moving and then I'll come back and do some more admin work. So I'm just about to get in my car. Unfortunately, it's raining. As I've been working on GP now for, I've left my keys inside. How annoying. So I've been working on GP now for 6 months because we haven't rotated as a result of COVID. So when I first started, I used to find home visits really kind of weird because you're in a patient's bedroom and examining them or their front room. Now I'm just used to them, to be honest, so I don't mind them so much. And it's actually quite interesting to get an insight into what patients' houses are like. So, as I was just saying, I managed to get my keys. The public probably don't know this, but I'm a junior doctor, so I'm in my foundation year. I've just finished medical school about 1.5 years ago. I'm a qualified doctor and I'm registered, but we're still training, so we rotate every 4 months, but because of coronavirus, they made a decision, which was probably a smart decision, not to rotate us, because we were supposed to rotate in April, which I think was sort of just after lockdown, and everyone has to learn how to do their new job and things like that. So it was deemed a bit risky, which is fair enough, I agree. They also brought loads of the 5th year medical students out of medical school early. I mean, the 5th year is a preliminary year to becoming a doctor, but you're still a student, so it's probably quite scary for them, because I remember when I first started F1, which is foundation year 1, first year out of med school, I think I was pretty terrified. Anyway, thankfully the hospitals have been okay from what I've heard. I haven't been in, but obviously all of us have stayed in our jobs still. So I'm going to be here for a total of 8 months, so I'm, and I want to do GP, so it's really good for me. But it does mean that we're missing out on our training a little bit in more acute hospital areas. But I mean, I do really love my job. I love the people here, and I'm getting to do what I like. So that will hopefully put me at a bit of an advantage to when I do GP training. So I need to go and see this patient now. Here's my visit bag. And I think it's about a 9-minute drive. I just need to basically go and check him over. He's a bit confused, so we're gonna see whether there's any source of an infection and hopefully treat that. Yeah, I'll probably get some lunch on the way or on the way back from the shop, because I've been disorganised and not managed to buy anything, which I usually make anything. I usually make my own food, so we'll just have to grab something on the way. So I'm gonna have to put this down now because I need to put the address into my sat nav. Okay, bye. So I'm just going to quickly talk about what being a doctor's been like over the pandemic. The first stage was fear, but I feel like that was pretty much the whole population. And we implemented a lot of changes that meant we practiced medicine differently. After this, we did a lot of waiting, especially in the southwest where the cases were low. We did a lot of consultations over the phone, and we only brought in a few patients a day. And the third stage is what I feel like we're in now, is where normality is returning, but everything's still different, and there's a lot of tension in interactions. It's really hard to develop rapport with patients, and as a trainee I feel like it's quite difficult to talk to patients over the phone, just because I like to see them with my own eyes to make a judgment. And obviously this is changing now, but I really do feel like it's going to change the way we do medicine. Oh my god. Okay, so it's actually a different day, so kind of defeats the whole day in the life objective, but I realised that I forgot to mention my really cool headset. So when I'm speaking to patients on the phone, I can do it hands-free. Just means that I can type and do things as I'm consulting them. So just thought I'd add that one in there. You think that being a doctor is all about seeing patients and saving lives and doing CPR and running down the corridor with your bleep going off and seeing really cool medical diagnoses. To be honest, in the hospital, for me anyway, I felt like it was more 90% paperwork and admin and 10% seeing patients. I think in GP practice compared to hospital, I do tend to have more patient contact because I have people that will do a lot of the admin stuff for me. I guess what I'm trying to say is being a doctor is probably not what you think it is, but I hope that it's given you a good insight into what my day's like. Thanks very much for watching. If you do have any assumptions of what you thought being a doctor was like, then please let me know in the comments down below.